looping back a little bit. Nick Saban came to your high school, watched you work out. What was the result of that? Like, what did you do?
Yeah, so Nick Saban comes to watch me work out. It was a power clean day in the weight room. This is when my knees still worked well. So I see Nick Saban walk in, and I'm like, okay, I got to throw this weight around. I got to throw it around fast. So I do a quick power clean set, not any type of crazy weight. And then my head coach in high school, John Rodenberg, comes over. He's like, hey, go speak to Coach Saban. He wants to talk to you. So my heart is about to beat out of my chest. I'm a 16-year-old kid from Ohio, and Nick Saban is here to talk to me. So I go up to him, and he doesn't – the thing I liked about Saban that was different than other coaches when you get recruited who might blow smoke and be all hype and try to relate to these 16-year-olds to get them to come to their university. Saban didn't do any of that. So I walk up to Saban. He's like – how you doing, young man? I'm Nick Saban. Shakes my hand. He's like, listen, I like your film. I think you're a tremendous player, and I want you to come take a visit to the University of Alabama. He didn't say he was going to offer me. He didn't say any of that, but he said he liked my film and he wanted me to come. So I go home from school. I'm like, Mom, we're visiting the Crimson Tide. We're going down to Alabama. And she's like, well, why? You told me that you don't want to go that far from home. I'm like, Mom, Alabama's about to offer me. We're going to Alabama. Like, we're going to go have that experience. So I went. He actually was the only coach who looked me in my eyes and told me I was too small to play D-tackle at the Power 5 level. He was the only coach. He offered me as a 3-4 end. His eye was like, his vision was like a 3-4 run-stopping end. He didn't think I was big enough to be a good D-tackle. He didn't think I was athletic enough to be Odafe Owe, Chop Robinson pass rusher. So in hindsight, he may have been right. He may have been right. But I appreciated, like, even the way he evaluated seemed like it was on a higher level than a lot of coaches around the country. He had a document with my size, my measurables, what he saw on film. He had it highlighted up, and like he went through it in a very calculated, strategic way. And although I may not have agreed with everything he said, I could see the thought behind it and see where he was coming from. So that was definitely a top cool experience I had as a football player.
I think that's the biggest thing with recruiting is you want real feedback. Like you want coach to watch, like a college coach to watch your tape and tell you what you want to, like what you can improve on, not necessarily that it's good. Yeah. Like what exactly do I need to improve on? What can make me better? I think guys want to hear that stuff. They want, guys that are going to end up being good or be coachable want to hear real analysis of their play. And you talk about Nick Saban. I didn't have Nick Saban come to the Parkland High School to watch me, but my first ever like real recruitment encounter with a coach was Coach Blazik, who I think is the Wisconsin offensive line coach now. Okay. He was at Rutgers at that point. He came in one day to watch me work out, but there was no team lift that day. He just said, "Yo, I'm coming to the school to watch you work out."
Right. So now you're working out, right?
So I was probably gonna like just go home and play like Minecraft or Call of Duty or something and be with the boys and be hyped. But I was like, yeah, boys, rain check on that one. I gotta go get it in. So I had like a gym clothes in my locker that I was probably dirty. Probably put those on. Like nasty. Just getting in there.
Smell bad.
I had to get that mindset, that gritty, grimy, blue collar, middle class Pennsylvania mindset.
Thank you for that clarification. Middle class PA. Continue.
Also, just sidebar. Not everybody can be from the hood. Okay, let's just claim that now. There's too many guys that I grew up with, and too many guys that I met their parents that are not from those parts.
Yep. It's actually, well, let's continue on that conversation because I've had teammates at Penn State who you talk to them in the locker room, you watch how they move day to day, they'll have you convinced that they are from the darkest of the darkest corners of America. And then you meet their parents and you hear about their 401ks and their gated communities, their trust funds, and it's like, why are we trying so hard to build this narrative?
Yes.
You're not from there.
You're not. And you're not adding any toughness, skills, or badges to your player archetype.
Main culprit. Let's list a culprit out.
P.J. Mustipher. He claims Baltimore. He claims he's from Baltimore. You lived in the gated communities of Owings Mills.
I want the viewers back home to go look at that. But if you talk to P.J. Mustipher for 10 seconds, he may give you a spiel or a phrase or a couple statements that indicate that he never knew when his next meal was going to come. Yeah. And that's just not him. So I'm not sure where this epidemic's coming from. It's got to stop. Yeah. You never were a guy who did that. I was going to make a joke and say that was you, but it wasn't you.
No, I'm from the suburbs. I hate, everybody has tough times, but look, I'm from the suburbs. I never missed a meal. Janice Dawkins worked hard, okay? We were good. We were taken care of, all right? That's just the reality of the situation.
No need to fake it. What were we talking about before that?
But back to my college workout. So, I put my beats on. I was in there, like, warming up. And at the time, like, I wasn't even allowed to be in the weight room. Like, we had, like, your coach always had to be in there while you were working out. So there was, like, a free lift. So, like, a bunch of, like, random, like, high school students who, like, missed a bus were, like, in there just running around, like, doing flips off of the pull-up bars and stuff. And, like, they're, like fighting in there. And, like, it's just me in there, like, power cleaning, like, by myself with no plan, just putting weight on and hoping it goes up with a horrible form. But it was gritty.
Right.
And my high school coach ended up coming down to talk to Coach Blazik, and he was just watching me like this the whole time. I'm like looking out the corner of my eye, like putting weight on there that shouldn't be on there. My coach is like, "You've never done this before. Like you can't do this weight. Why are you doing it? I'm pulling it up. I'm cleaning it. I'm pressing it over my head. I'm throwing it in the glass.
You're doing anything.
I'm kicking people. I'm flipping off walls. Like I'm doing whatever it takes to get that offer. And afterwards, Coach, hey, come say what's up. Say how you doing. He said, "Hey man, you work hard. Yeah. I like that. We'll keep that in mind."
I like how you do senseless things to prove yourself in front of me. That's basically what he's saying.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you'll do anything.
Yeah, I'm in there like jumping. Like there's no reason. Like what workout is that you power clean, get off the power clean, and do a 360 jump.
But that's the truth. Recruiting is so much smoke and mirrors. It's a show. It's a performance. Mm-hmm. You're just doing things that really don't translate to you being a good football player, even a little bit.
Yes.
I mean, not even remotely. Now recruiting's a wild time, man. I just thought of this story, too, because I was watching the kid play. Josh Myers is the center for the Green Bay Packers. Mm-hmm. And you remember, like, the Nike opening. I'm not sure if it's still a big deal. I would think it's still a pretty big deal. But, like, all the top prospects from the region would meet at the Nike opening regionals for the chance to go compete in the finals in Eugene, Oregon. And it was like a big deal. I'm sure it probably still is. But Josh Myers and I showed up to the same camp. Josh was either a year or two older than me. Like, I'm still a sophomore at this point. I think he was going into his senior year, and everybody knew Josh Myers in the region. Like, he was a problem. He was always a really good O-lineman. And I remember at this point, I'm like a 4-star prospect, and I knew that all these writers and media members would be there who had the ability to influence my star rating. So me, 15 years old, I've never been beaten before. I think that I'm the guy. I'm lining it up with Josh Myers as many times as possible. So I line up the first 2 times. The first one I slip, they give Josh the win. The second time, Josh straight up, like, I tried to bull rush him. He took offense to it, and he turned it into a bull rush and put me on my back. I did like 6 or 7 more reps against Josh Myers to try to fix that image I had given these writers, and I lost every single rep. No less than 4 days later, I went from a 4-star, like a 94, 95, down to an 88. So again, recruiting, smoke and mirrors. Who's the loudest and who has the most tattoos and power clean abilities? That's the types of things that are getting evaluated. It's ridiculous. It has nothing to do with football.
Yeah, never. But like, I guess the coach is also thinking like, if this guy's willing to just kick this pedestrian in the stomach to show how bad he wants to offer, like maybe we take a chance on this guy.